Hi everyone, this is Claudio Ferrara, EMEA CTM for McAfee. I'm here today to introduce you to the latest McAfee device-to-cloud strategy called also Unified Cloud Edge, or UCE. UCE protects data from device to the cloud and prevents web-based and cloud-native threats that are invisible to the corporate network. It is a framework for implementing a Secure Access Service Edge, or also called SASE, which is an architecture and a safe way to accelerate digital transformation with cloud services, enable cloud and internet access from any devices, and allow ultimate workforce productivity. So let's have a look to it and how we do it. There are different market trends that led McAfee to develop a solution like Unified Cloud Edge. The first one is the internet breakout. More and more people are working remotely due to the current situation with the COVID-19 pandemic. So the numbers here of people connected are higher than in any other year before. Data and applications are also shifting towards the cloud. So we talk about a cloud shift. And third point here is the mobile workforce that is stronger than before. Many people are using their own devices to accomplish their daily tasks for work and also for personal life. So generically, people are working from anywhere with any device and using any of the services. Key challenges for customers are different. These are three important questions that you should remember. How do I increase security posture without increasing complexity? How do I ensure I'm protected and support compliance initiatives with users and data everywhere? How do I enable cloud workspace to increase productivity and still securing sensitive data? Let's have a look to it. The current methodology for data security, it's of course divided across four different vectors of data loss. It goes through endpoint, network, web, and cloud. These vectors include data from any device, including also bring your own device, and all the way to and through the cloud. First of all, organizations start with the on-premise DLP, as it where the data creation typically begins. And the organization needs to control that data, secure also the intellectual property from leaving the company, but minding that there are some gaps like web traffic and cloud-created content that there is no control that we can apply or visibility over these fields. That's why they come with web protection. So they purchase web protection, which helps with some network and web traffic, but using as seen, there is still some of the gaps of the content created inside the cloud. So there are two different gaps, one related to mobile workforce and the other one to cloud traffic. So again, they need to add another component, which is CASB, Cloud Access Security Broker, to cover the cloud gap. And now they can see from the device to the cloud, but there's still a problem that each of these single solutions are siloed and they contain their own policies, their own classification, and their own incidents. So they're still quite separate across each other. So this is all making very complex solutions that creates additional gaps and provides inability to quickly discover and respond to threats within an organization. And this needs to be addressed. How do we do that? The approach from McAfee, first of all, UCE closes these gaps I mentioned so far by converging CASB, DLP, and Web Gateway and unifying them by reducing then the administration burden. Some of the benefits, you can see them here. We have, for sure, unified management of policies across all control points, yielding consistent results, ability to review and respond to incidents in, of course, a unified manner. So you can clearly view and understand how your sensitive data is being used from device to cloud. So there is no longer a need of patching a lot of products to achieve all of this. This specific map here shows you the overall picture of UCE, starting on the bottom from left to basically going towards the right. You can see different types of various organizations that will use basically UCE in a specific way. We start off the enterprise or the major campuses to getting towards the remote users, branch offices, and also unmanaged devices. Bottom left, so you see we're starting here from the campus where organization can use McAfee DLP and directly on their system, which can also be used in conjunction with on-premise web gateway. And in this case, you can decide of deploying McAfee Web Gateway on-premise because maybe you want to protect specific areas or areas of the office or departments on-premise. For remote users, you might have remote people working from home, for example, which may have their data be monitored by the DLP endpoint, but also having the ability of getting their traffic redirected through our cloud presence and the cloud data centers, which are made of Web Gateway Cloud Service, GTI or Global Threat Intelligence with gateway anti-malware and browser isolation. And then we have CASB that brings up features like CWPP as well as container protection. Now, by moving towards the branch offices, these offices can be connected through one edge infrastructure players, and these are names that we work with, as well as they will have their own traffic being secured thanks to IPsec tunnels, which can be established through Web Gateway Cloud Service. Lastly, unmanaged devices, and or also as we can call them, bring your own device. With UCE, any organization have the ability to leverage single sign-on and also identity providers of their own choice to incorporate a cloud access policy and ensuring that unauthorized devices or users are either not allowed into their sanctioned cloud applications or allow and control what users can or cannot do from an unmanaged device. An example would be, for example, to allow a bring your own device to connect to Box or maybe OneDrive, but not downloading any content to this device because it's an unmanaged device. And also, as you can see, with the UC technology, we have also reduced, quite frankly, we have reduced a big amount of MPLS traffic in the inside organization and the typical organization. And there is not a place for a physical appliance within the organization because we are reducing that footprint by leveraging the McAfee data centers and all the components the McAfee give you directly from the cloud. Moving on the next step, locking down your data, not your business. That's one point. Unified data protection enforcement goes across different examples, which I'm going to show you now in a moment. Users from a computer, they can have, thanks to UCE, blocked all their access towards maybe websites with poor reputation or high-risk reputation. They can have their actions of uploading sensitive data towards a medium-risk websites, which could be maybe a website that generates PDFs, to be blocked. Or being allowed to share sensitive data with their own co-workers towards maybe a sanction service, which could be Office 365, for example, while having it blocked if they try to collaborate with third parties by sharing a file maybe in OneDrive. Next to this, we can block also uploads and downloads of files from unmanaged devices, while we can also block any sensitive and confidential data from being shared out by just sending it by email, USB, or printing it. Another point is to allowing users to email sensitive data to internal recipients while still blocking and blocking any possibility of sharing this file with an unapproved third party. How do we do this in UC? And you can see now all the names of the products we leverage from Web SaaS, so our Web Gateway Cloud Service solution. Also, as we now also see it as a cloud forward proxy, CASB, and of course, Endpoint DLP. Unified management is another core point, which we are able to do it directly from, at the moment, MVISION EPO and MVISION Cloud. Single login, where users and customers generically, they will be able to log in once and they won't notice no difference when moving between different services. Unified policies and classification by having one console for all data, protection of policies and classifications as well. And unified enforcement, so one console for policy enforcement across all data protection vectors. And last but not least, unified incident management, one console for all data protection incidents and reports. We can stop advanced web and cloud threats as well. How do we do that? We have inherited from Web Gateway Cloud all the process that you can see in this slide, starting off the URL and known threat inspection, which we believe covers 80% of web traffic threats. And this means assessing URLs by letting the URL be scanned through the Global Threat Intelligence Database, or GTI, which is fed by over 1 million of nodes and around 500 researchers who work for McAfee who analyze any of these signature-based threats that will be, of course, being scanned by our own AV as well, and also any of these threats who might also hide inside the SSL traffic will be inspected as well. We are able to inspect basically in covering with this on the 80% of the traffic. The rest, 19.5% of this traffic will be covered by our gateway anti-malware engine, which covers the real-time emulation or zero-day protection. We are able to assess and emulate the behaviors coming from HTML objects, JavaScripts, as well as any PDF or Office file or executable. We are basically assessing 19.5% in a matter of milliseconds. Generically, with the on-premise approach, the next step to this would be leveraging a ATD solution or sandboxing solution to cover the last few bits of files. But with Unified Cloud Edge, we're going to soon implement and integrate fully our latest acquisition from McAfee, which is our product called Remote Browser Isolation. This product specifically takes the end-user web browsing session and isolated into basically a secure virtualized location, similarly to what it is a container, and replicates an interactive image of this session inside the user's web browser with a technique also called pixel mapping technology. This provides the end user with protection against web-based threats. Because of malicious codes that can leave this isolated browser, the user won't be able to be harmed by this. It works clientless and is also integrated with a web gateway based perhaps on rules that allow traffic redirection towards the remote browser isolation solution based on if the website is uncategorized or unsafe, for example. There are a few other points to mention. There are examples related to browser vulnerabilities where we want to redirect this traffic towards RBI, and in this way avoiding maybe vulnerabilities that are also invoked through programs like Adobe Reader, Flash, or Java. Or for example, we want to avoid the accidental browsing of users through web and specifically reaching out to malicious websites. And also we can apply the RBI for avoiding emails with malicious URLs as well. The unified with CASB, so cloud native management and advanced threat prevention. So we're talking about cloud forward proxy, where we are able to leverage both CASB and the policies and the granular controls policies that next generation web gateway can provide to all of you from the cloud. And this is applicable for the shadow IT use case. So business database are now merged together to give you the best information. Unified incidents and workflows are applied as well. And the closed loop remediation from device to the cloud, we can remediate any of the data escaping our control by also applying actions, for example, restricting access to specific tenants. So we can block any data from being uploaded on any personal cloud service. We're also able to enable the remote workforce, which means that based on the map you saw before, thanks to the forward proxy, cloud forward proxy, or also called Cloud Web Gateway, and thanks to the reverse proxy mode given to us thanks to MVISION Cloud, our CASB product, we can protect users that are remote or that are even that they even use their own personal devices to connect to corporate cloud services. And we do that thanks to these different types of deployments, as well as we can leverage APIs from MVISION Cloud to apply controls also to sanction services or approved services. Reduce complexity and increase scalability is another point. Generically, companies go through an hub and spoke architecture, which is a kind of legacy architecture nowadays, because it means that different offices will have their own traffic backhauled towards their corporate data center in order for this traffic to be scanned and to be analyzed and to be blocked. So 90% of traffic is going to be destined towards the data center. Applications will need private links to the data centers, and internet access via high security stack is happening at the data center. For the cloud world, still, we are also applying a legacy architecture in the majority of the cases, because in this case also, more than 80% of traffic is destined for the internet. We're backhauling internet traffic inside our corporate data centers providing a very low performance. We have congestion at the data centers happening all the time, and we're also exploiting more and leveraging more VPNs for remote users to be able to have their traffic filtered, which is providing in a useless balance for remote users and is making a very ineffective way of reducing threats from reaching out our company. And this was something that I believe many companies found out during the COVID-19 pandemic. After, and the next step, that is what McAfee approaches the market with Unified Cloud Edge, is a direct-to-cloud security, where every customer, every user, from both remote user as well as users coming from other offices, they're able to access directly to the cloud and becoming cloud native. So having their traffic being redirected to the cloud native web gateway, having protection in the same way from headquarters, remote sites, and remote users, eliminating the needs of appliances on premise, and which can be costly, also to upgrade, to patch, reducing, of course, the timings for traffic redirection, and it's a very scalable way of approach to the network traffic, because we are leveraging McAfee points of presence, which are virtual points of presence. We are leveraging also the McAfee infrastructure that is based on the peering infrastructure, and with a pretty high SLA of 99.999%. This SLA is pretty high in the market, and you're able to find out more about it by going on trust.mcafee.com. You will be able to see all the data centers and point of presence that McAfee has around the globe, their SLA, and also how we kept up this SLA in the last 8 months or so, based also on the pandemic, many people working from home. Even if we saw spikes of traffic because customers were leveraging more our point of presences, we were able to keep up our SLA by just giving a 5 minutes downtime per year. How a unified cloud edge addresses cloud security use cases. I'm going to show you now some use cases which basically is going to help you to clarify some points about our strategy and how you can leverage unified cloud edge in your own infrastructure. We have an example here. We have Maria. So just to give an example about this fictional character, Maria on a daily basis, she can do different things at work. For example, she can take a lot of different actions, uploading data, or maybe applying collaboration. All of these can be kept tracked by us, because if she tries to share some confidential customer notes, and we have an endpoint DLP connected and a classification created, thanks to the API of MVISION Cloud, if she tries to share something from our own sanctioned service like Office 365, we are able to catch that and we can block that action. And we are doing this natively inside the cloud. Next step to this, I mentioned endpoint DLP, which is the second product of the Unified Cloud Edge strategy. If any data or Excel with maybe a credit card information is being shared, maybe through email, Gmail, or USB devices, this can be stopped thanks to the endpoint DLP classification and policy controls that we can apply, both cloud-based as well as on-prem based. Contextual access control is another example. So if Maria tries to access any corporate cloud application via an unmanaged device, thanks to our MVISION Cloud and specifically to deployment of MVISION Cloud called Sky Gateway, we can block the download and the upload of the data from these unmanaged devices. Maybe because Maria uses her own personal devices, services in the cloud, and thanks to Sky Gateway, we're able to detect this and to block it. DLP for shadow cloud services. So if Maria tries to upload DLP confidential data towards any unsanctioned or shadow IT services, she will see her action being blocked by our Cloud for Work proxy. Cloud application control and tenant restrictions. If Maria wants to use her own personal Office 365 account, and in order, for example, to modify documents or to upload these documents for work on maybe ZippyShare, she will get her action basically being blocked, and being blocked by the Cloud for Work proxy, since that we can restrict the usage of tenants that are not compliant with corporate ones. So if she's not using the corporate tenant and she's using her own account from Office, for example, we can block that as well. And we can enforce any type of this action directly on the user traffic. Zero-day malware prevention. So if any data holds a malicious payload and is being delivered directly to Maria via one of our cloud service providers, for example, a file hosted on OneDrive, this is going to be stopped from reaching the local client machine, thanks to the advanced GAM engine that is basically that we're leveraging through cloud for the WebGate cloud for proxy. Next step is the cloud native threat prevention. So while any cloud native threats will be stopped by MVISION Cloud Threat Prevention Engine, this is basically done directly inside the cloud. So if anybody delivers a file that has a signature, thanks to the reputation intelligence and the information regarding the signature McAfee has, we can block that thanks to the cloud native AV engine available inside MVISION Cloud. Another example, in this case we have Dave. So these are examples that are making you understand a bit more what we do, right? In this case, we're having the same DLP engine running both on endpoint and inside the cloud. And the classifications are shared from endpoint to the cloud thanks to EPO. So there is no need to manually duplicate classification or rebuild policies for CASB or for the on-prem DLP endpoint. We're saving time now and we're creating new DLP rules and improving detection accuracy thanks to having the single DLP engine working from device to the cloud. Unified DLP workflows. So from endpoint to the cloud, we can have a unified workflow in terms of DLP data. All incidents remediation workflows go back to EPO. So there is no need to go to two separate consoles to view incidents. And then both CASB and the cloud web gateway are now fully manageable by one single console and by having in common a shared risk database across cloud applications and shadow apps. Lee, in this case, we are talking about our cloud native proxy architecture with UC, which means having no other to take care of, and remember this is an important point, an advanced infrastructure relying on virtual point of presence thanks to the peer infrastructure that McAfee has with peering partners that allows us to have a greater bandwidth to give to consumers and customers so that they can reach to their service provider in the speediest way and the fastest way. There is a high availability, remember about that, about our SLA. And thanks to the cloud proxy, we can also enforce this for the shadow AT use case. Question is, why McAfee? So you probably are aware already of how many products McAfee has and part of our portfolio. First, we have for MVISION device, we have endpoint protection, EPP, and EDR solutions, which are matched from MVISION EPO for threat protection and the device level. MVISION EPO is also the software as a service-based management system, and MVISION Endpoint and ENS are part also of our EPP solutions. We have organically developed a cloud-native EDR, which is also MVISION EDR, that allows us for hunting of threats and remediation of these threats. For cloud controls, we have unified cloud edge. So in MVISION cloud side, you can see there, we have divided unified cloud edge from one side and cloud infrastructure for the other. One covers, thanks to CASB, web proxy in the cloud, RBI, remote browser isolation, and data loss prevention endpoint. We basically can secure data in and out of the cloud. And the cloud infrastructure also can be protected with other suites of products that will cover the security for the IaaS as well as for the PaaS stack. Because now we can apply protection also to different areas, like also container security. Don't forget about that. Then we have the common security services, which is a layer in data protection regarding classification and compliance. We have threat prevention, thanks also to the MITRE framework that we apply to multiple products. And of course, the orchestration and the policy management, which is one of the core features of McAfee, thanks to MVISION EPO as well as generic EPO. While through our MVISION Insights that was released recently, we can fuel customers with analytics and intelligence, and coming all of this from worldwide sensors that McAfee has deployed around the world. So in this session, specifically, we will anyway stick to the device to cloud security strategy. We don't cover MVISION Insights. But if you want to know more, I suggest you to reach out to us for this. 10 great reasons to decide and choose McAfee Unified UCE. So there are different reasons. For sure, having common policies and insights across endpoint, web, and cloud, it's a great advantage. We have merged business risks together with threat risks and database. We have unified incidents happening, workflows, and also investigations happening inside one incident and one single report for all of this. We are applying the closed loop remediation from device to cloud. And we are also applying tenant restriction. We are able to control tenants. And we can provide also complete context awareness, understanding if a user is accessing our own corporate services from devices that are managed or unmanaged. We have also SLAs pretty high, remember 99 or 99%. An extended infrastructure, cloud infrastructure. We have also threat hunting teams and threat researchers working for you and providing you the latest information about zero-day threats. Aligning also our entire portfolio, or specifically Unified Cloud Edge, is aligning and bringing us on the table for the SASE architecture, which is something that Gartner reputes and thinks that it's very important. And we are also highly recommended by Gartner Peer Insights. And about this, also for 2020, McAfee has been chosen with the Customer Choice Award for 2020 for Gartner Peer Insights. We're receiving these awards for all the 3 products that are part of our Unified Cloud Edge strategy: Secure Web Gateway, CASB, and Data Loss Prevention. Remember that McAfee is trusted by companies that are part of the Fortune 100 firms, 80% of them, the world's largest banks, the 83%, the global top 50 retailers, 58%, and 98,000 corporate customers. And don't forget that McAfee has 1,300 patents that are held worldwide. And thanks to our global threat intelligence, we receive 400 billion GTI requests per month. This is a big, important number. With McAfee, what can we see with our own eye? So McAfee can detect 360 zero-day threats every minute and more than 5 every seconds. We have research teams, threat research teams that work together. They analyze millions of samples per day, and they analyze at least 300,000 files forensically. And we also provide an intelligence network which is based on 1 billion sensors globally and around 50 billion quests per day. This comes from products that are not only enterprise, but also generic consumer products. If you want to find out more about McAfee, reach out to us. And there is also a website, mcafee.com/unified cloud, if you want to know more about Unified Cloud Edge. For the moment, I would like to show you very quickly what we provide you with Unified Cloud Edge. I just want to show you that with MVISION Cloud, I just need to log in back again in my own tenant. For your knowledge, in MVISION Cloud, you will be able to check a lot of different information. First of all, you will have policies. In this case, we have web policies. This is related to the Cloud Forward proxy. You can set up different policies, the way we need to scan HTTPS traffic, as well as how we need to filter websites generically and the reputation of these websites. So you can decide the way it needs to be set up, how we need to block traffic based maybe on medium or high risk. We can move and change these options, of course, based on specific categories of websites. These are the generic actions that you can take with any forward proxy. The way we can make inspection of the content, but also about the application control, which is a great capability that is part of our product. We're able to block applications, types of applications. We're able to apply restriction of tenants based on the domain of your company. And also we can apply activity control. Activity control is actually an interesting point, specifically because you are able to block actions on maybe websites that we have APIs that work with, like LinkedIn or YouTube, you're able to block categories of videos, as well as categories of maybe not only videos on YouTube, but also actions like uploading data on LinkedIn, blocking post of information. You can do a lot of different things. So I suggest you to gather information on that. This is what you are shown as soon as you log in Vision Cloud. Inside Vision Cloud, you can take a lot of controls for Unified Cloud Edge. First of all, you can gather information about the dashboards information, and we tell you how many services we have found in your company. We tell you how many unassigned services that we're not sure of that you need to check if these should be used by your users, and how much data we are uploading, which users are uploading what data. If you go in governance and cloud registry, you can have a better look and a better understanding of the list of cloud services that once you deploy Vision Cloud with Unified Cloud Edge, you are able to see. So you're going to see that these are websites that our users are accessing to. And McAfee gives you a risk score just to let you know how risky is this website for your corporate environment. So we're just telling you that there are websites that are marked with the number 7 in red, which is very risky. You should apply a policy to block them, and you can do that thanks to service groups. Now there is a service group aligned to it, which means that this service group called High Risk Cloud Storage, it's a group and a list of these high risk services that will be automatically be blocked by Vision Cloud in order for the user not accessing to them. Just want to refresh this page. Continuing on this, I want to show you also that you have the chance to gather information about analytics, about services being used, users, type of web traffic. So this is related to the cloud forward proxy, web malware, and many other actions. I won't go through all of them. I just want to show you a few things. Policy incidents, it's related to incidents that are gathered from all the products that are also part of the UCE. And in this case, you're able to filter them. And this bar on top allows you to filter what service you want to see and what incident also. In this case, an audit violation from Amazon, from the infrastructure as a service point of view. But all of these can be cleared out, and you can gather information about all these services you see here. We provide you also number of and the amounts of the services. There are pretty a big number of incidents, so you see the page is loading up very often, and you can also skew and filter this information for your knowledge. I would like to finish up also with the DLP policies, just to show you that McAfee has already a list of policies that we can enable and based and applied for the different service that we support. So you're able to apply this for Box as well as for G Suite, for Google Suite, Microsoft Teams, and this is a great advantage McAfee has. And Office 365, so we can block credit card rules, private information, collaboration actions via Office 365. Remember that McAfee uses APIs for Vision Cloud, so there are different approaches to that. Just for your knowledge, Lightning Link is one API approach that works only for the collaboration use case in Office 365. And specifically, it's something that only McAfee has. So we can block and leverage McAfee, Microsoft only messages, so error codes, to block and to show the user that maybe he cannot share a specific folder or a specific file, maybe from OneDrive, to an external one, because there is a policy. And this policy is applied thanks to Lightning Link, which is the API collaboration only for Office 365. And I just want to conclude on this, and the page has now refreshed. As you can see, these are the actions I was telling you about. The YouTube controls that you can apply, so we can block categories of videos, channels, titles. This is all part of the integration McAfee has been having for quite some time. It's nothing new, but we have now put it inside the cloud forward proxy as well. As well as media types, you can block media types. You can gather information about DLP, so classifications, dictionaries, way of integrating DLP with ICAP servers, and also the threat protection, which is done through gateway anti-malware. So all of this was only to show you what we can do so far with McAfee. So I hope that this information was useful to you, and I also would like to thank you for attending this session. And also, if you have any further queries, please do reach out to us, as we are very happy to answer them and answer any question you might have. But for the rest, I would like to wish you a great day ahead and enjoying also the event you're attending.